Hello, everybody. Welcome to another play-by-play review. The last episode I did was debunking whether or not the ball was tipped during that non-called pass interference call between the Saints and the Rams in the NFC Championship game. There seemed to be a major misconception about that play. Seemed like the play was edited. Regardless, I debunked that completely. The next play that I'm going to review is a play that I saw on Twitter. Twitter user Cameron DeSilva wrote at the top here, John Sullivan, number 65, was called for holding on this play, a 13-yard run by Todd Gurley. So if we run the play right now at speed, let's do this full screen. He is claiming that there was no holding on this play when it was called a hold on number 65. So let me just say that we were running this very slowly. Number 65 is right here. He was the guy called for the holding call. And this was a long run, and Todd Gurley, I think he gained 13 yards on this play. Todd Gurley is right here. You can see him run by the play, run through that kind of hole that was made. Now, he's saying that there was no holding call on number 65. It seems to be that he is a regular block. But what I'm going to say is that while holding was not the correct call that should have been called here, there was actually a penalty on this play. And the penalty was not a hold, but rather the penalty was a chop block. Now, according to the NFL rules, a chop block is a block by the offense in which one offensive player, for purposes of this rule, blocks a defensive player in the area of the thigh or lower, while another player engages that same defensive player above the waist. You see number 81, Everett, he kind of gets pushed down to the ground, and then number 65 kind of backwards tabletops him and pushes him over Everett, number 81. Now, plays like this are designed so that a defensive player won't get injured below the waist, won't injure their legs. It's kind of like the roughing the passer call where you can't tackle the quarterback below the knee. It's a similar situation here because it can be very dangerous for a defensive player if they get tabletopped like this. You can see he clearly is tripped by Everett. Now, the thing is, with this play, it really sucks because you can tell that this was not planned. You can tell that this was an inadvertent play. Number 53 knocks Everett to the ground, which causes the table topping as number 65 pushes him over number 81, Everett. So while it is an accidental chop block, it is still something that you would consider to be a chop block. Just like if a defensive player is pushed into below the knee of a quarterback and it would be roughing the passer, so too is this play as you can run it right here. You can clearly see that they both engage with the defensive player at the same time. One clearly above the waist and one clearly below the waist or below the knees. So if we run this again at speed, it might suck because this was one of the best plays that Todd Gurley had and the Rams had as a running game. This was considered a first down, but it was a play that was not correctly called as a holding penalty, but it was a play that was correctly flagged. And I guess that's where the misconception is taking place. This was correctly flagged, even though it was not correctly called holding, because it's not necessarily holding, it is a chop block. This is all we have for this breakdown. Please be on the lookout for more breakdowns at a later date.